Hey, messengers, this is Jonathan. Glad that you are with us. If you're here, let us know that you're here. Put your first name, where you're watching from, in the chat so I know you're here. We're broadcasting in 6 locations and we're doing something special this week. We are highlighting and showcasing real entrepreneurs, real people who are in this community that are building their businesses. Because, hey, listen, I know I come live to you every single week and you hear about the stuff that I'm doing and you may be like, Jonathan, does this work for anybody else? Is anybody else doing this stuff outside of talking about blogging or talking about podcasting? And the answer is yes. I work with them all the time, and it's people that are in my insider community. And so all this week, I am showcasing people, real stories, real people who are working on their business, and I want you to hear their stories. And this is what I most want you to get out of this week. You might be one idea away from a breakthrough. Seriously, you just might be one idea that somebody shares from their story, their journey, what they're working on, to be like, that's it. That is the thing that I need to be doing. So I'm so glad that you are here. And if you're watching over on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, because we've got several more interviews this week. And I don't want you to miss any of these. You can also go back and watch some of them that I've already done this week on the YouTube channel. If you're over on Facebook, you can scroll back in the feed and find some of those older interviews from this week as well. So glad that you're here. So again, let us know that you're here so I can see you. I see that there's numbers coming in, but obviously you're more than a number. I want us to know your name. So feel free to put in your name and where you're from so we know you are here. All right, so again, what we're doing all week long is we are doing a insider showcase, real people, real results. And maybe you didn't know that I ran this private mastermind group. Me with along with my team of coaches, we help a group of people. We have a private online portal where we're every day mentoring, helping, answering questions, and just providing value to them to help them to build their businesses faster. And so I'll be talking about that in a little bit, but now I want to get into tonight's interview. And so I'm bringing Jodie V onto the stage. Hey, Jodie.
Hi there, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm good. So I love this because we hang out and talk all the time, and we're just going
Yeah,
to be having what we do all the time, conversation right now
true.
here, for other people to kind of listen in on our conversation. So I want to start with maybe telling people a little bit about where you're from, which is it's a story in itself where you're at now,
Yeah,
and then a little bit about your business.
sure. I'm Jodie V. I'm a nutrition coach and an online integrator for a number of people. But right now, I am in Eastern Idaho, and I absolutely love that because I have had the ability to have my own business and to work remotely and online this past year in 2020, even amidst COVID.
Yeah.
My husband and I relocated from Atlanta, Georgia to the mountains, and we are living our dream. And so it's super exciting. I love it.
I love that. You know, there's a story. I don't know if you know this or if I've told you this, but my grandfather, he was an entrepreneur. He owned several hardware stores in Indiana in small towns. And then he basically sold them to his sons. So I have uncles that took over the stores. And he said his lifelong dream was to go out west to the mountains and build a log cabin. And so at the age of I think he was 70 or 71. He
Mhm.
literally went out to Idaho, found a piece of property about 6,000 feet elevation. And literally, I'm not exaggerating. It was like those Lincoln log cabins, where
Yeah.
they were bringing it up the side of the mountain and leaving it there. He and my grandmother stayed in their RV, and every day he got out his hammer, and I mean, he literally built this log cabin in
That's
his
so special.
70s up in Idaho, and I got to go out there and stay at the log cabin once. We went out there for about a week. It was beautiful. I'll never forget just how nice the weather was in the summer up in Idaho. So I'm a little jealous of that.
Well, I'll tell you, we absolutely love it. We're both huge outdoor fans, snow or rain, shine, well, not rain, but snow or shine. The one thing that beautiful about where we live is, Jonathan, I came from Atlanta and I thought, I grew up in Michigan and not far from the Lake Michigan shoreline. And we always had gray, like, from October until
Yes.
May, just no sunshine and lots of lake effect snow and all that. And I said to my husband, he's always wanted to live out west, and we were trying to pick the place. The thing that's so fun about it is I just didn't want to really leave the warm and the sunshine of Atlanta, but I've been pleasantly surprised. There's so much sunshine here, even during the midst of winter. Now we've had a pretty mild winter, but even so, I mean, I feel like 90% of the time the sun's shining and it makes me happy.
I love it.
So, just back to we're living the dream. We decided I didn't want to wait till I was 70
Yeah.
to do that. And so this is just part of the plan. So,
And I love that because this is what this is all about.
yeah.
Obviously we get the best of both worlds. When you do an online business,
Sure.
yes, it is something that you can earn income from and you can design a life that's
Hmm.
very different from the regular 9 to 5 that a lot of people have. But at the same time, we get to make impact on people too. So we're not just doing money, making money, but we're providing impact in the
Hmm.
things that we're doing. And I think that's so awesome. So I want to hear a little bit about your origin story. Like, how did you come into this world of starting an online business?
Let me just tell you, in 2015, I had no idea that there was really much of anything going on online. So, my background is I started off as a CPA, worked in public accounting, numerous corporate positions, had we had our own business, some, brick and mortar business for a while. And then I worked for various nonprofits. So I have a 30 plus year business career at pretty high level management. And it was kind of becoming a grind. I had a few positions that were tough, had a commute, lots of financial struggles, and I was just in the midst of it. And I'm a big problem solver. Like I love to, solve problems and organize and strategize and, work things out. But the burnout was coming on. And I
Mm.
remember sitting, I was up visiting my daughter in Philadelphia, and I had my iPad and a bunch of quilting things, and I was just sitting there listening to some podcasts. And one of the first podcasts that I really became acquainted with was Dan Miller's 48 Days to the
Yeah.
Work You Love, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I think that's what the name of it was
Yeah.
at the time. And it really started intriguing me. Back in 2008, I thought maybe I'd like to write a book or do something like that. And I started investigating some things, went to a writer's group, and they were talking about blogs. And I was like, oh, what's a blog? I don't even know what that is. So that was 2008. So in between that time, 2008 and 2015, I became acquainted with, the idea that there was options other than, driving to the office every day,
Yeah.
doing the 9 to 5, and something that would make my heart sing. And so I started to explore that. And as I explored that, Dan happened to introduce, you were a speaker, I think, on his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And in that podcast, you shared that you were going to be doing this summit. Remind me the name of it.
It was called
I
the
don't even remember.
I think it was called the Amplify Summit.
Amplify. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it was. Amplify Summit. And so this is how crazy I am. Like I didn't even know like replays existed or anything like that at the time. I literally the entire lineup, I decided I am digging into this. I'm gonna figure out what this is all about. And I watched every single one of those interviews live on the Amplify Summit. I have a notebook where I took, ravenous notes. And I think I showed that to you at one of our
Yeah.
live
I
events
remember
a
that.
couple of years ago. It's like, and it just ignited my world. So it just totally ignited my world to the possibility of that I can do, there's something else I can do, and still, bring my skills and insights and abilities to the table and get paid to do it, which is
Yeah.
what's pretty incredible. So,
Yeah. And there's so many
yeah,
unique different ways that we can earn
for
income
sure.
on our own schedules, online. And I think that's what makes it so awesome. And we probably will talk and get into some of these. But before we do, a lot of people, once this world is opened up to them,
Mhm.
then all of a sudden the brick wall comes, like challenges, right? And so
Yeah.
I guess for you, what were some of the biggest challenges when you first started?
Well, so first challenge was, 215. I was getting acclimated with the idea of there's something else, but didn't exactly know what that something else was for me. And then when I did a couple of challenges and, was engaging with your content and that sort of thing. And I think the challenge really came when I decided I was I was going to make a change. I was gonna draw a line in the sand. I was gonna pick a day, and I was gonna make a change. I was gonna figure out whatever it took to do it, right? Um, that day came and went because life got in the way.
Mm.
And that's, I think, the biggest challenge is making a decision and then having to make an adjustment about maybe sometimes the timeline. So I had a couple things going on in my life at the time. My mother-in-law was in her 80s and she was in declining health. I was doing some online coaching already with nutrition and fitness business with two other partners, and so my days were full, and I needed to get to a place where I could get enough monetization where I could make that break. And so that figuring out how to do that in the midst of a very intense management position I was in at the time, taking care of mom, and just trying to juggle the time, uh, and being willing to be patient, I think, was the other big challenge for me. Now, some people are positioned where they could, make a jump right away. I was a little bit more risk adverse because I was making, a six-figure income, and that was scary to step back from that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I think you bring up some great points that I think a lot of people struggle with. At least I've run into people
mhm,
who have those same struggles between, man, I've got a decent career, but yet maybe the context, there's something still pulling me away. Do I give that up? I know for me, I definitely wasn't making six figures as a high school teacher, but I would kept
so,
thinking my parents were teachers, my wife's a teacher. I'm supposed to really, really love this. Like, this is a noble profession. Why do I still have this unsettled desire to go do something else? And I felt guilty about it for a while until my wife this one day is like, Jonathan, you are not going
yeah,
back. You're not going back. And she really just drew the line in the sand. She goes, I don't care what you do. You're not renewing your contract.
mhm,
You're not going back. So let's figure it out. And I was like, wow, that was brave for her to
yeah,
say because we had a daughter that was 9 months old and we're a young family and we're trying to figure it out.
yeah,
And it was still a journey. It still was from that point to doing something online was still a 9, 10 year journey for me. But
yeah,
there was so many things I learned along the way as well. So here's where I want to transition next. So one of the parts of your story was joining Insider, which for people who don't know, it's my
mhm,
mentoring group. I don't do any one-on-one coaching anymore, but I work with a group of people in a more intimate, closer way.
yeah,
And what's been neat about your journey is you're not new to Insider. You've been an
yeah,
Insider, you've been around, and I identified you as such a great coach in the way that you helped other insiders that I'm like, I need a director of coaching. And so for a while, when I was looking at having somebody like take the the realm, so to speak, on the director of coaching, I thought, well, maybe I need to I was putting up a job description together. I'm going
Mhm.
to, maybe put this out there. Maybe somebody knows somebody who's run a program. And then I don't know. I just got a sense of like, I want someone who has the heart of what Insider's about, who already understands what it is
Yeah.
and not trying to bring an outsider in. And that's when I identified you. So we've got kind of two parts to this, but I want to first talk about your experience coming into Insider as a customer. So if you can recall, because I know you've been an Insider for a long
Yeah,
time,
I can.
um, what were some of the hesitations of like just taking that step forward to getting more serious and committed, both from a time, but also from an investment standpoint?
Mhm. I think for me, well, first of all, I want to say thank you because it's an honor to serve insiders as the director of coaching. I feel so privileged to be able to do that. And I think for me, Insider, I was looking for community
Mm.
first and really was willing to make an investment in in the community, both financially and time wise, starting out, because I know from previous experience how you grow in the midst of other people challenging you. You know, they say that you should have three groups of people around you, right? A group of people that you can lead, a group of people that are your peers, and a group of people that are far beyond where you are at this point. And I think when I joined Insider, I saw the value of all three.
Mm.
I had the opportunity to kind of communicate with different people that were engaging with your content online and Facebook and different places, and I felt like there's people at all different levels, and it just seemed like the right natural step for me. I knew that I needed the skills to develop a new skill set around technology and language and marketing, because that really wasn't where I was living. And so I think that the first challenge for me was deciding time and then making the commitment, because as I shared, I had a lot of other things
Mm-hmm.
going on in my life. And so I knew that if I were going to take the step, I needed to take it seriously. And there's something too about a financial investment that helps us take those kind of commitments seriously. And so Insider, the way it was then, is very different in many ways than how it is now, but the core feel of the community and the inviting nature and the caring nature, no matter what level you're at, if you're just coming in as a beginner or you've been around for a while and you're doing the thing, there's just a warmth and a generosity that I don't think I can put words on.
Mm.
That's what I love.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I remember like when you joined, it was way back when I think we first kicked off and started the
Yeah.
program, and it was me hanging out with a lot of people, and it's grown. It's not like too big for people to be a part of, but I think it's even better organized. It's better designed to help people where they are. It
Mhm.
is, back in the day when we would do a call, you would have somebody who's more advanced and somebody who's a beginner, and that was intimidating to the beginner, and the advanced
Yeah.
person's thinking, well, I don't want to hear all these beginner questions, and it's like trying to just get everything like worked out. Now we've got a system, like we've got
Yeah.
mastermind groups and coaches, and we can meet you at whatever level you are at. We have specific
Yeah.
training to help you get to that next level. And so it's just so much better. Even it just keeps getting better, I think, over time. But yeah, would you say that I think you touched upon that community aspect? Talk about, because I know you got a chance to meet a lot of insiders that you only knew virtually once
Mhm.
we had an
Mhm.
in-person event. talk about the a little bit about that if you don't mind, like what that was like to hang out in
Oh, well,
person with
yeah,
some insiders.
definitely. I mean, you just to get to know people on a different level, and it's so rich. I mean, it's in some of the insiders are some of my best friends now. I mean, I communicate with them, weekly, daily, often, and it's such a joy. And it really, when you meet somebody in person, then it brings everything into full context, right? Which is fun. And one thing I want to say, Jonathan, what's been super fun about being involved in Insider from the very beginning is we've got to see the changes and growth that have happened in your business as an example for what can happen in ours. And one of the things we talk about is just taking action. And what I love, whether we're virtual or in person, you're always about taking action. And what is the next step? What is the next imperfect step? Get it going. It's not going to look the same today as it will tomorrow, as it will a year from now or 10 years from now. And that's so encouraging. Back in the day when you started Insider as a mastermind, I remember I was uncertain if I was going to join because of the time commitment, because I was just like, I think a week off of having had hip surgery. And we
I
can talk
remember
more
that.
about that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I
Kind
remember
of one
that.
of my mountaintop experiences. I literally was I'm an athlete and totally at a point where I was sitting there totally disabled from hip surgery going, all right, I'm just going to go for this thing. Right. And just like you, we were at different points, but you went, I'm just going for this thing. I'm going to do this mastermind group. And what has been awesome is to see how it's evolved.
Mm,
And how many people we've been able to help, launch and move forward at all different steps in the process. I know
yeah,
it's been a game changer for me for sure.
it's been a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I just enjoy. I wake up every morning and think, how can I help insiders? Like, how can I help
Neat.
them get to the next level? So that's awesome. So I want you to talk about, you're the director of coaching and you really oversee our coaches now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even from this place of like, just beyond like the technical to dos of everything that we're trying to do, can you talk a little bit about the heart behind what we're trying to do for people, and why it's so important for people to get plugged in, and a little bit about, I guess the mission behind what we're doing.
Well, market your message. I mean, everybody has a message. We were placed on this earth with an individual mission that we all have to fulfill. And like my 30-year business career, that was part of my mission. Now it's something else, and it does change over time. But I think for so long, so many people, they know they have something inside of them, right, that they want to share. And it's being held back for whatever reason,
Mm.
whether it's fear or they don't they don't think it has validity, or they're not sure who they can help or what it looks like. Uh, our heart is to get those stories and those messages out. In fact, I was sharing with an insider not too long ago, um, and she happens to be involved in ministry, and it's like, let's get ourselves out of the way and let it be about somebody else. You might save somebody's life today.
Mm.
You don't know. I mean, you have no idea. My message around nutrition and fitness, I might have the opportunity today to change somebody's life in ways that I may never know. And what a privilege, right? Like what an awesome responsibility, but what a joy. I know that if I laid my head down tonight, Jonathan, and I didn't wake up, that I have fulfilled my mission in life. And I want every single person, and I know you do too, I want every single person, no matter what it is, whether it's about food and nutrition, whether it's about ministry, whether it's about helping somebody enjoy a hobby, uh, you know, learn about books. I mean, there's thousands of things that can bring joy to people's lives. And I think I think that's the heart of getting the message out, is helping people live more fully, more authentically, more real, and to live into who they were, are called to be. So
Well said. I love it. Awesome. Here's I just think that you just you kind of capsulized it in really, really good terminology. And that's the heart behind what we're trying to do is
yeah,
everybody has a message to share. They have a story to tell, and they have a lesson that we need to learn from them. And we need to get their message out there, and they need to get it heard. I love it. So, a little bit of a transition here. Um, one of this company, Market Your Message, one of our core values, and I wrote this up a couple years ago. I think it was like maybe over a year, maybe 2 years ago. One of the core values is I want to attract and hire people who are entrepreneurial. And that
hmm
is so counter culture to most of my online business friends. Like most of my online business friends, literally, when they put out a job description, like to hire a director of coaching or to hire a salesperson or whatever, they put on there that they cannot work for somebody else or for their own thing. Like you can't have a side hustle. If you're coming to work with me, you need to just exclusively work with me. And I just decided one of my core values is I don't want to hire employees. I want to hire entrepreneurs. I want to hire people who have that mindset of an entrepreneur. They have the growth
yeah,
mindset, right? They understand the value of being a part of a mission and growing something as opposed to this is what I do to draw a paycheck. And so I just want to set the stage for that because not only are you, of course, you're doing the director of coaching for us and helping lead our team and events and things. You've got some other entrepreneurial things you're doing outside of that.
hmm
So will you take a moment and tell people what you're up to on the nutrition and the coaching side of your business?
Sure, sure. So I've been fortunate to be athletic all of my life, and I really enjoy, like I said, outdoors. And I'm a former physique competitor, looking at maybe going back to the stage in the next couple of years. And I
Ooh.
just love, yeah, I just love. I love good food. I love nutrition and fitness. And you know me, Jonathan, I have a heart to help people. And so for the last 7 years, I have been coaching one-on-one clients with nutrition and fitness as part of a business with two other partners called the OmniFit. And what's interesting is they had to move on into other spaces in their life. And we actually just shut down that website this week, which is, it's so hard to say goodbye. But the lesson is in all of this is what you start with isn't exactly going to be, like I said in the beginning, what you're going to end with.
Yes.
The ideas that are swarming today take on a totally different life as time goes on. And so I'm in the process of rebranding, and my website is at jodiev.com. It is not live right at the moment, but we're working on that part. I do have some opt-ins and some freebies going for people, but aging strong life. So I just love, like I said, helping. I help right now. I really am focusing on single midlife women who want to become mentally and physically strong to regain energy for a life they love. A lot of times we get to midlife, there's a lot of changes happening, and we've taken care of everybody else in our life.
Mm.
And now it's time to take care of us. Many of us have found ourselves single, either through divorce or widowhood, just a lot of different things happening at midlife. And when you're single or you're an empty nester, eating and nutrition kind of it can look a lot different. And so I'm really passionate about helping women at that stage look at what's coming for the second half of their life, and to be able to have more energy to live life fully, and hopefully integrate that with helping them get their messages out and the things that they want to share in the world. Right now, so I am coaching nutrition full time, and I do the director of coaching, and I also help another entrepreneur as an integrator. And what an integrator is handling all the back end tech stuff. And I'm really an executive assistant is my official title, but I just keep all the moving parts going while he does all the stuff that he's excellent at. So, and he was an insider at one point in time too, that has went out and successfully monetized. And so it's really fun. It's just been an interesting journey as I continue to experiment and move through different parts of the process.
I
So,
love it. I love it. And we'll come back around to that because I think you might have some cool stuff if people are watching and
mhm,
you're like, I want to know more about this. How can I get more? We're
yeah,
gonna hit that. But before we do, this week and next week, we are opening up
yes,
the doors for Insider. This is something
yes,
that we open up. Quite frankly, we are adding more spots. We've got some more coaches that's come on board. We're having a few more
great
mastermind
coaches.
groups. And so we have the availability to take on more people because it's important that we keep you in small groups, in masterminds, make
Hmm.
sure that your needs are being met. And so we have an opportunity to have, if you're watching right now, whether you're watching the replay or you're catching this live, to get in your application. And so what if somebody's on the
Yes.
fence, right? They either might be Jodie, they might be like, well, I don't have everything figured out yet. I got to get my business to a certain level, or it's not making money yet
No, no,
for
no,
me
no,
to
no, no.
apply to this. And, like I've got to be this certain status, or maybe they're just on the fence with time or money thing, right? So, what would you say to somebody who's on the fence?
Well, two things. Can I say two things about
Yeah.
somebody that's on the fence? Well, actually, maybe three, maybe five, actually. um, the beautiful thing about the insider community is you're not a name, you're not just a name or a number. You are a person. You are a person with a message that we care deeply about, and the community cares deeply about it. You will not get lost. Like, this isn't a group of 10,000 people that you sign up for a lot of money for, and you never have interaction with your coach, your director of coaching, or with you, Jonathan. Like, we all are intimately involved with your development and your success. And everybody's success looks different, and you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have anything figured out. In fact, we have a roadmap that will help you figure it out step by step by step. Number two thing I want to say is, if not now, when?
Mm,
When will you make the investment in yourself? When will you listen to that still small voice that's telling you, I'm made for more? There's
mm.
something else for me. How can I leverage what I already have, what I already know, what experience I have, and move that forward? Um, the other thing I just want to say is choose something. One thing we say in Insider is, don't chase gurus. Like, pick something, go all in and be all there, and put the blinders on. You will only
Yes.
see success if you take those incremental, very positioned, small steps that stack and get you to that long-term place, that goal you want to be. What happens is we start just chasing shiny objects, and we need to turn it off. And so I just want to say, if you're on the fence, ask yourself the question, what, 12 months from now, if I could do X, what would it look like, and what tool do I need? And I'm going to tell you, every tool that you need and all the support you need is right here in Insider. And I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid. I have went the process, right? And seen success, successfully monetized my business on multiple different levels. And in the last 3 years have increased that income over every single year, to the point where, like I said, I'm full-time, and my husband and I we replaced income and moved from Atlanta to our dream spot here out west, Eastern Idaho, and we're living it. And so it's possible, but you need to make a decision, number one, and number two, put the blinders on and do the work. And that's the unsexy part. So if you want to get like really true with yourself, right, that's the question I would be asking if you're on the fence. Are you ready to stop playing small and go for it? That's what I hope people are asking. And again, you have everything you need to be successful right here in Insider, and you won't be a number.
Yes.
You're real to us.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. I love those two, because I mean, I have seen those two things come. They've been things in my life too. So I know there's been times where it's like I hesitated way too long. In fact, when you were talking, if not when, I remember a few years ago when we first started Insider, talking on the phone with somebody who was thinking about joining Insider, and he decided not to at the time. And I remember almost a year later, he contacted me, and he's like, Jonathan, I need to join Insider. And I was like, really? He said, yeah. And he said, I've done nothing for the last year. Like, I'm still at the same place, and I'm just tired of like just struggling alone and trying to figure this out. And so I think that's, if you feel very isolated, you don't have to figure all this out on your own. And then the other thing that you said, I think is so good, is put the blinders on. Like, one of the things that we like to tell insiders when they join is your search is over. Like, you need to stop searching for all the stuff out there and just focus on our community, our coaches, our resources. And that's a breath of fresh air when you're like, my search is over. And the reason I say that is because I still pay for mentoring. I have mentors that I invest in. And what I do is I carefully choose the mentor that I want. I know what I want going in, and then I determine to become their number one student. And that's my focus, is like, I'm just going to listen to them. I'm going to crowd out, push out everything else, and I'm just going to be this person's number one student. And so I love that. I echo it. I think it's great. All right. So what's next?
I think the realization too is that when you do choose, and you choose right, and I think Insider is a right choice for many people, it accelerates you. Because you don't have, the path is, once you choose a couple of things, the path is set for you, and all you need to do is follow the next step, right? You don't have to think about what's happening way over here. You kind of have an idea of what the end game in mind is, but you don't have to know all the details in between. And I'll tell you, back to one of your original questions, Jonathan, that was one of my first challenges and hangups, as I felt like I needed to be able to see the entire path laid out. And we do a great job of that in Insider now. But the truth is, you don't have to know that path, because even if you did, it's going to look different. It's going to have its little ups and downs and hills and valleys, and maybe sharp right hand turns, in the process. So that's just an encouragement, I hope.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Good word. So what's next for you? What's coming up? What are you working on? What are you excited about? I think one of them is, I know you've been working on a redesign of your website, and you've hired a pretty awesome guy who does amazing work to work on it. So what is it? Is it that the next thing that you're working on? You got something else you're rolling out? What are you working on?
I've got two big things, honestly. So I'm working on the thing on my website is I'm really working on the copy. And now that I've really drilled down and honed who my ideal client avatar is, things are starting to fall in place. But with this transition from the OmniFit over to, my own site, Aging Strong Life is kind of my overall theme. I really had to think and dig deep about what is my message? And you know what? I went back to square one with Market Your Message and Insider, and just, read the book, went through systematically, and it's like, yep, it's all starting to fall back into place for me. So getting the website launched is a big deal. But the other thing is the way I monetize. So I have a lot of referral client work that has really sustained me. And I'd like to move away from the one-to-one coaching model. Not that I don't love coaching people, I do, but I want to help more people.
Yeah.
And with one-to-one, your time is limited,
Yep.
and it's impactful and valuable, but I have the potential to impact a lot more people,
Mm-hmm.
still intimately, but on a different level in group coaching format. So that is what I'm moving towards. But the big launch with that will be, I'm going to do some 3-day accelerator intensive type boot camps to draw people in, where they can actually think about things, take action, and walk away after 3 days with kind of a game plan. And then if they want to go to the next level, then that will be an option too. But right now, that's what is coming up for me in 2021. I have a goal of offering a couple of different accelerators like that, and just helping people think differently about how they eat and their nutrition and the second half of their life. And so I'm super excited about that. And it's all coming together, with design and copy and all those pieces parts. So that's what's next.
It's exciting. I'm excited to see what you
Yeah.
do. So, and we're here to support you along the way. Awesome. So, where can people connect with you, Jodie, if they've just maybe somebody's watching and they're like, that is exactly me, like what Jodie just talked about. She just described me. Where can they connect with you?
Well, they can connect with me right now by subscribing to my email list. And I have a really quick link. It's bit.ly/Jodie V. So it's bit.ly/JODIEVEE. And you can go there and opt in. I've got a free gift for you, which is 7 ways to know whether or not your nutrition plan is working for you. And it's just a great start off to think about. I'm all about stop dieting and start living.
Mm.
And I want people to look at life and nutrition and everything differently. And so I think people will find that super helpful. And I'd love to have you join the list as we get ready to launch the new website. So I hope that helps.
Perfect. I love it. Jodie, thank you for being here. It was so much fun. I know we could talk for another 30 minutes, but thank you for being here and sharing a little bit of your
It's my
journey and
pleasure.
story. And I know it's been an encouragement to people. So thanks again.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right. So did you guys enjoy Jodie's story? I hope that you did. And I want you to know one more time, because some of you might be like, okay, Jonathan, you guys talked about Insider. I think I really want to apply. What do I do? So let me just talk about kind of the big pillars of what Insider is all about. And this is my 60-second overview. Okay. So all the way over here on the left, you see the situation-driven mentoring. So we do regular Q&A calls where myself, I'm your mentor. You bring whatever questions you want. We do these in a Zoom group setting, and we do these calls regularly. We also have coaches on our team. My tech person, my integrator, the person who runs my online business, she handles some of those calls. We also have other coaches like Jodie. She's handled Q&A calls in the past as well. And we have others who are better suited to talk about copywriting. So we do that, situation driven. Whatever situation you are in, we're here to help. We also, number 2, talk about systems driven mentoring. What does that mean? Well, we have an Insider Level Up roadmap that is a step-by-step master plan. And it gives you direct links to watch videos and then do tasks that we have designed for you step by step, all the way from I don't know what my business is about, all the way to scaling it full time. We do quarterly boot camps with our insiders. We have so much fun doing those, where we do a deep dive and get stuff done together. Also, community-driven mentoring. We divide you into different levels of mastermind groups. So if you've ever wanted to be a part of a mastermind group, we do that. And so we have people at the discovery level that are in a mastermind group. If you are at the level where I need to launch my website, we have a coach who leads the launch mastermind. These are people who need to figure out how to launch their website. And then we have coaches at the market level, scale level, and so on. And then finally, as an insider, you get access to all of my training. This is like over $6,000 worth of training or more. To be honest with you, it's probably more than that. There's over 30 some courses in there. Every part of your business, whether if you want to write a Kindle book, launch a membership site, you want to run a virtual summit, like everything is in there. And so you get full access to everything that we're doing. So here's the thing. Until next week, you can actually apply to Insider. So here's the link. You want to go to jmill.biz/insider. So jmill is just short for my name, jmill.biz/insider. There'll be a video there that gives you an overview of what Insider is all about. And then you can hit the button to apply. And then we'll have a call. We'll have a conversation, see if Insider is right for you. And yeah, we would love to have you come join our community. We got amazing people in that community from all different kind of niches and passions that are working on building their business. If you're ready to be committed, to stop dabbling and start dominating, and you say 2021 is the year that I'm going to do something and I'm going to get serious about this, then this is for you. All right. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some more insider interviews tomorrow and Friday. And so that's it. Thanks for being here. Have a great night. Bye-bye.